Kody chipped Robyn. Shocking conspiracy and Meri's final blow exposed. The world of sister wives has never been short of drama, emotional confrontations, spiritual revelations, marriages on the brink. But nothing could have prepared viewers for the newest, most bizarre twist in the ongoing saga. A wild conspiracy that Robyn Brown allegedly placed a surveillance chip in Robyn, and Meri's long-silenced fury finally unleashed in a bombshell confrontation that sent shockwaves through the Brown family. This isn't just family drama. This is the unraveling of a dynasty, and a startling glimpse into what some insiders are calling Kody's obsession with control. From spiritual unity to paranoia, it all began with whispers, strange behavior, tension, suspicion. While fans watched Kody and Robyn's marriage on screen slowly deteriorate, those close to the family say things behind the scenes had taken a far darker turn. Robyn, once the most loyal and devoted wife, began withdrawing. Her usual emotion and expressions of support for Kody were replaced by nervous glances and anxious silences. She stopped filming solo confessionals. She seemed distracted, even afraid. According to a family insider who asked to remain anonymous, Robyn confided in Janelle that she felt monitored, even in her own home. It was like she couldn't speak freely, the source said. She thought something was listening. She even mentioned finding a strange device in one of her bags, like a tracker. She asked Janelle if it was possible Kody could have planted it. A chip or a conspiracy? Of course, the idea sounds outrageous. But in a family where reality has often blurred with belief, and where control has long been a theme, Robyn's suspicion wasn't dismissed as paranoia by those who knew the inner workings of Kody's world. For years, Kody was the spiritual and logistical leader of the Brown family. His word was often final. But as his relationships began to fracture, Christine gone, Janelle emotionally detached, Meri sidelined, he allegedly became increasingly obsessed with maintaining control over Robyn, the last wife still publicly loyal. Some insiders believe this so-called chip was not a literal implant, but a metaphor Robyn used to express the emotional and psychological monitoring she felt under Kody's watch. He needed to know where she was, who she spoke to, what she said, one source shared. If that's not surveillance, what is? Janelle stands with Robyn. In a stunning twist few fans could have predicted, Janelle, the pragmatic, independent second wife, became Robyn's unexpected ally. While their relationship had long been strained, Robyn's emotional breakdown and fear struck something in Janelle. The two began meeting privately, away from Kody and the cameras. Janelle, who had long experienced Kody's emotional distance, began to realize that Robyn's situation was no longer about favoritism, but about possession. It wasn't about love anymore, Janelle reportedly told a friend. It was about ownership. Together, they began piecing together moments. GPS pings Robyn didn't remember authorizing, cameras positioned strangely in their shared home, calls that ended abruptly when Kody entered a room. Was it all coincidence, or was it part of something deeper? Meri explodes. You've controlled us all. While Robyn and Janelle were quietly investigating the truth, Meri Brown had reached her breaking point. Meri, the first and often most sidelined wife, had endured years of emotional neglect, public shaming, and private sorrow. She had watched as her marriage to Kody eroded, even as she tried to hold on to the faith and family that defined her adult life. But now, watching Kody spiral into conspiracy and fear, and learning of Robyn's turmoil, she couldn't stay silent any longer. In a climactic moment reportedly caught during an unaired production meeting, Meri confronted Kody in front of crew members and family insiders. You've controlled us all, through religion, guilt, fear. And now you're surveilling Robyn, planting devices, treating your wives like property. You've lost your soul, Kody. This isn't about family anymore. It's about power, and you don't have it anymore. The room fell silent. Kody, stunned, reportedly responded with denial and anger. But the damage had been done. Meri's words echoed with a finality that stunned even longtime production staff. TLC's reaction: show on the brink. When word of the confrontation and the allegations of surveillance reached TLC executives, the response was immediate. The network said they were already concerned about Kody's behavior in recent seasons, citing fan backlash, increased volatility, and growing concern over the welfare of the wives and children. But this new twist, involving alleged emotional manipulation and potential invasion of privacy, crossed a line. This was no longer about messy family drama, said a network rep. It was about ethics, safety, trust, and we're reevaluating everything. While an official statement has not been released, sources confirm that production has paused indefinitely, and legal teams are now involved in reviewing any footage, crew notes, and contracts that could be affected by the unfolding drama. Robyn's collapse and awakening. Robyn, long the symbol of Kody's spiritual ideal, is now a woman in crisis, and perhaps rebirth. According to those closest to her, she has stepped away from filming, canceled public appearances, and is undergoing intensive counseling. The emotional toll of being allegedly chipped, gaslit, and isolated has left her shaken. But those same sources say something inside Robyn has shifted. She's waking up, said a friend. For the first time, she's questioning everything: her faith, her marriage, her silence. And she's angry. Robyn is now said to be considering a permanent separation from Kody and seeking legal counsel to protect her children and assets. While she has not spoken publicly, those familiar with her plans believe she will break her silence. And when she does, it could be the final blow to Kody's public image. The fans react: we saw it coming. As news of the conspiracy theory and Meri's outburst began spreading through fan forums and social media, the response was swift and fiery. Fans who once criticized Robyn for breaking the family are now rallying behind her, expressing sympathy and anger at Kody's alleged behavior. Meri's name trended online, with many praising her long-overdue stand. Janelle, ever the pillar of calm truth, was lauded for stepping in when no one else would. We thought Robyn was the puppet master, one viral post read. Turns out she was the puppet. Kody's silence, or strategy. As the fallout continues, Kody has remained notably quiet. No social media posts, no interviews, no public statements. Some believe he's laying low on legal advice. Others think he's crafting a comeback narrative, perhaps portraying himself as misunderstood, betrayed, or even victimized. But the silence may speak louder than any defense. The Kody Brown that once stood at the center of a loving, if unconventional, family has disappeared, replaced by a man surrounded by suspicion, loss, and collapse. Where do they go from here? As of now, Robyn is said to be planning a full exit from the marriage and public life. Janelle is supporting Robyn emotionally while continuing to live independently. Meri has distanced herself completely and is reportedly considering writing a memoir. TLC has halted production, and the future of the franchise is uncertain. Kody remains isolated, under internal investigation by the network, and facing public scrutiny. Final thoughts: the end of control. In the end, the most shocking part of the Kody chipped Robyn conspiracy might not be whether a literal chip existed, but that such an idea seems plausible in the emotional reality Kody created. This was a family built on faith and choice. But over time, it turned into one driven by control, fear, and desperation. And now, as the wives find their voices, and the audience sees the truth, Kody Brown's empire of silence Kody as Robyn faces control allegations, and Janelle joins the revolt. The walls of the Brown family dynasty are crumbling, and this time it's not behind closed doors. What began as a spiritual experiment in plural marriage has descended into a dramatic, deeply personal revolt. At the center of it all, Meri Brown's long-simmering rage, Robyn's shocking allegations of control, and Janelle's decision to step out of neutrality and stand up against Kody Brown. This isn't just another episode in the Sister Wives saga. This is an uprising, and it might be the final chapter in Kody's once mighty reign as patriarch. The breaking point, Meri Unleashed. For years, Meri Brown played the part. The first wife, the loyal partner, the quiet sufferer. Viewers watched her navigate heartbreak, emotional distance, and public humiliation, all while clinging to the idea that this family, this principle, was worth fighting for. But Meri's patience didn't come without limits. In what insiders are calling one of the most explosive moments in family history, Meri finally let loose on Kody in a private gathering that TLC cameras were allegedly not permitted to film. But thanks to crew leaks and family sources, word spread fast. You discarded me like trash. You lied. You manipulated. You let me rot in a marriage you didn't believe in, just to protect your image, Meri allegedly said during the confrontation. I kept quiet for years. Not anymore. The room reportedly fell silent. Even Robyn, long seen as Kody's most devoted ally, looked stunned. Meri wasn't just airing grievances, she was issuing a reckoning. Robyn under fire. Allegations of emotional control. While Meri's anger grabbed headlines, Robyn's quiet confession may have shaken the foundation even more. In private conversations with Janelle and a close family confidant, Robyn revealed that she'd begun to feel emotionally controlled and monitored by Kody. Though she once defended him staunchly, even as other wives left, it appears Robyn is now seeing the same patterns the others endured. He tracks everything. My spending, my phone calls, who I talk to. I can't breathe, Robyn reportedly told Janelle. It's like I'm not his wife. I'm his property. Robyn's admission shocked many. She had long been viewed as the favorite, the wife Kody protected above all others. But according to those close to her, Robyn has grown increasingly anxious and isolated in recent months. Her children, once close to Kody, have reportedly withdrawn. And as the family home grows quieter, her fear is growing louder. The most stunning part, Robyn is beginning to acknowledge that the other wives were right all along. Janelle's shift, from quiet resignation to open defiance. No one expected Janelle, the calm, collected, peacekeeper of the family, to be the one to join a revolt. For years, she maintained a careful distance from the drama, focusing on her independence, her children, and her business pursuits. But something changed when she saw what Robyn was going through. When Robyn came to me crying, saying she didn't feel safe emotionally, I knew it was real. Janelle reportedly shared in a private support group. I've lived that same fear. I just never thought she would too. For Janelle, Robyn's vulnerability was the tipping point. She began speaking out, not just in private, but in meetings with TLC producers and family members. She refused to back down when Kody tried to dismiss the concerns as exaggerations or drama. This isn't drama, Janelle reportedly fired back. This is emotional abuse. With Meri speaking up, Robyn unraveling, and Janelle stepping forward, Kody suddenly found himself alone in the spotlight he once controlled. TLC on high alert. As the internal family breakdown escalated, TLC executives were forced to intervene. What was once the network's crown jewel of alternative family representation had now become a powder keg of emotional toxicity. Producers scrambled to rework the next season's direction. There were discussions of canceling Kody's participation entirely, or rebranding the show to focus on the wives' healing and independence. "There's too much risk now," said one network insider. "This is no longer compelling family tension. It's real damage, and we can't ignore that." Contracts were reportedly reviewed. Legal teams were brought in. TLC was also said to be in contact with therapists to offer the family resources, a move that suggests they're preparing for a full-scale crisis response. Kody responds: denial, deflection, and disbelief. Kody, for his part, has remained defensive and dismissive. In conversations with remaining production staff, he reportedly denied all accusations of control and surveillance. Instead, he painted the wives' concerns as manipulated by outsiders and driven by bitterness. "They're rewriting history," he allegedly said. "They want to blame me for everything because it's easier than looking at their own choices." But viewers and even crew members have noted a shift in Kody's demeanor. He appears more erratic, more isolated, and increasingly paranoid. He's reportedly cut ties with longtime friends, avoids conversations with the older children, and has even threatened to pull the plug on the show himself, though legally that may not be in his hands anymore. The wives reunited, a new sisterhood rising. Perhaps the most unexpected consequence of Kody's unraveling is this: the wives are finding each other again. Meri, Janelle, and even Robyn, once fractured by favoritism, competition, and hurt, are said to be reconnecting through shared pain. There are rumors of group therapy sessions, private support circles, and even joint discussions with TLC about potential spin-offs focusing on life after polygamy. "It's not about revenge," one source said. "It's about reclaiming their lives." Fans have rallied behind the women, calling for a reimagined show that highlights their personal growth, motherhood, independence, and what it means to rebuild after emotional betrayal. Christine, already thriving post-divorce, is said to be in communication with Janelle and Meri, possibly encouraging them to tell their full stories without Kody shaping the narrative. The legacy of the Brown family: lessons in love, loss, and power. It's hard to believe how far the Brown family has fallen from their origins, a tightly bonded plural unit, determined to challenge stereotypes and fight for the right to live and love their way. But perhaps what we've seen over the past few years isn't just a downfall, it's a reveal. What began as a pursuit of spiritual freedom eventually exposed the dangers of unchecked patriarchy, the emotional toll of favoritism, and the resilience of women reclaiming their worth. Kody Brown may have been the face of Sister Wives, but as his control fades, the true strength of the show is finally emerging, and it lives in the voices of the women who once stood in his shadow. What's next? As of now, Meri is reportedly working on a memoir in planning to speak publicly for the first time without Kody's oversight. Janelle continues to support Robyn privately, while also working with Christine on possible business and content ventures. Robyn has stepped back from filming and is in ongoing counseling. Her future with Kody is uncertain. Kody remains under contractual review and may be removed from the show if the situation escalates. TLC is considering a full rebrand, focusing on the wives and their journey beyond plural marriage. Final words: a family reborn through fire. The Brown family's story has always been polarizing. To some, they were pioneers. To others, cautionary tales. But today, what's emerging is a new chapter, one not written by Kody, but by the women who gave so much and were given so little in return. Meri has found her voice. Janelle has found her strength. And Robyn, once silent in loyalty, is now awakening in truth. Kody may have built the house, but it's the women who are finally walking out the door, not as victims, but as victors.